In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. We've been seeing how through the arrest of Jesus and the mock trial with the Pharisees and chief priests, that it doesn't matter once Satan has made up his mind that he's going to take somebody down, he's going to bring accusations. It doesn't matter what the truth is. If he's made up his mind, then he's going to go after it. And it doesn't make any sense to defend yourself because he has made up his mind and he's going to do what he's going to do. Well, we've seen that, and it hasn't made any sense, and yet it has moved forward because the devil is driving it. Well, yesterday we saw how the chief priests and Pharisees, all the religious people, took Jesus to Pilate, the governing agency now. He's the one that could actually deliver Jesus over for execution. And he even sees through the scheme of the enemy. He says to Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus said, "Yeah." And then the chief priests crank up with all kinds of accusations, and Jesus doesn't say a word because it doesn't make any sense to try to defend yourself against the devil. We don't argue with the devil. We resist the enemy. And so Jesus just stood there silently, and it was amazing to Pilate. Of course it was. Today, we're going to see what Pilate does about that. We're in Mark chapter 15, and we're going to look at verses 6 through 13. They say this: "Now, at the feast, Pilate used to release for them any one prisoner whom they requested. And the man named Barabbas, who had been imprisoned with insurrections, and he had committed murder with these insurrections." Well, the crowd went up and began asking Pilate to do as he had been accustomed to do in the past for them. And Pilate answered them, saying, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" Why did he ask them? He should have just done it, because that's the right thing to do. For he was aware that the chief priests had handed Jesus over because of envy. See, Pilate saw through the scheme of the enemy. He saw what the truth was. And so he should have just delivered Jesus and released him instead of this murderer, Barabbas. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to ask him to release Barabbas instead of Jesus. Well, answering again, Pilate said to them, "Then what shall I do with Jesus, whom you call the King of the Jews?" See, I should be letting him go. He's innocent. And so what do you want me to do with him? As if the people should be the deciding factor. You're the governor. You set him free because you know what the truth is. Now, that's what should have been going on. But when the devil's in the middle of it, you better look out, because unless you stand on truth, the enemy is going to have his way. That's why God says, "You submit to me. I am truth, and you resist the devil. Because if you don't, the devil's going to have his way with you." Well, they had stirred up the people, so what did the people say? They shouted back, "Crucify him." We're going to pick it up there when we get together tomorrow. But today I want you to see people play their lives to the other people, and we shouldn't do that. We should stand on truth. Jesus is truth. And so we should let truth, Jesus himself, live his life through us. God bless you who lives like that. I look forward to being with you tomorrow. They shouted, "Crucify him." What's Pilate going to do? I'll see you tomorrow.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus.